Hey folks, Sean here, and in this episode, I want to talk to you about why you should be keeping your users and customers aware of the updates that you're making to your product. Now, the way in which I do this is my preferred method is email, as I'm making changes, upgrades, enhancements to my B2B SaaS product, I'm keeping all of the users and customers aware of those changes over time. And there's various reasons as to why I'm doing that. Number one, I want to make sure that the paying customers for my product understand that I'm adding more value continuously to their experience. Number two, it's so that they know that those changes have been made. Because if they aren't in there all day, every day, or they are unaware for any reason where I've made those changes in the product, I want to point them in that direction so that they can use those features and I can measure what their experience is like, both asynchronously through analytics or based on the product feedback they may be giving me through my support channels. And number three, and this might be the biggest, most important one, for your users or free trial, people that fall into the category of free users or free trial users, for anyone who hasn't converted, they may not have converted because they haven't seen all of the value they're looking for yet. And the new features that you're adding might be that value. So if you aren't sharing those updates with them along the way, then they may not know whether or not your product all of a sudden has what it is they've been looking for. And that might encourage them to convert from a free user to a paid user. So if you're not letting your users know about this, it's a huge missed opportunity. And there's plenty of B2B SaaS products out there not doing this. They're simply just shipping the features into the product and they're not marketing them to their users and customers. Now, the way in which I do this so that you have an idea how you might get started is I use the platform MailChimp. It's relatively cost effective and it gives me the features and functionality that I need. But at the same time, I don't go overboard with it. I'm not adding a ton of bells and whistles and fancy graphics and all that kind of stuff. I'm keeping it relatively simple, right? Just stick to the basics. Introduce yourself to your users, let them know what the email is about, and show them in whatever way makes the most sense for you. Now, there's a cool tool that I've started to play around with myself because I like to incorporate visuals. Most people aren't super engaged with heavy text. They're looking for visuals, graphics, something like that. That's always more engaging than pretty much anything that you ever do. But there's a tool that I found more recently called Screen Studio, and you can visit that tool on the web at screen.studio. I'll link to it in the show notes. But check this thing out. It's local software that you can access, and what it gives you the ability to do is essentially do a fancier version of a screen recording. So if you've ever seen those slick videos on websites where they're advertising elements about their product and following the mouse pointer, and the mouse pointer might grow or shrink based on any actions you might take, like a click, because you may or may not have audio with this video, but it also zooms in to certain sections of your product or whatever type of demonstration you're trying to do. Like, for example, show them more about how a new feature or a new functionality in your product works. Then that can be a really convenient element of a recording that you're taking. So if you are looking to show off new functionality and you want to zoom in a particular area so they can see it more easily or make sure that they're focused in the right area, this software will help you create these screen recordings and do much of that all automatically for you. So it doesn't require a whole lot of heavy editing. So I'm playing around with it and seeing whether or not it's going to give me the ability to create the experience I'm looking for with the videos that I'm going to want to provide for my users as I'm advertising and to them the new features and demonstrating for them how it works. And I encourage you to look for something like that to share with your users as well too, because it might be a more pleasant experience for the people that are on your list, and it might be more effective as well too in terms of what you are trying to come across being received more effectively by them.